Have you ever had someone in your life for a short amount of time, but it meant the world to you? When it came to writing my tribute speech, there were the obvious choices of my mom, my dad, my brother, or even my sister-in-law. However, when it came down to who truly impacted my life the most, the obvious choice was my best friend. When I met him, I was a girl full of fear, anxiety, depression, having mental breakdowns almost every day. But with his help, I changed into a girl who has maybe one breakdown every month or so. This extravagant change happened because of the influence of love, patience, and kindness that Jordan showed me throughout our relationship. If I ever had the smallest change in my life, he would know, and he'd ask me about it to make sure that I was okay. He would always talk with me through my problems and knew when I needed to receive tough love. Who is this guy, you may ask? His name is Jordan Paul Kania Kanua Op. He is currently 19 years old and attending California Baptist University. Jordan was born in Hawaii on July 10th, 2000. He lived in Hawaii for about 2 years where his grandfather had his leg amputated because of cancer. However, when his grandfather was finally healing and the doctors decided he was on the mend, they were able to move back to Oregon where his family lived for about 2 more years. However, after months of prayer, his dad decided to move to Fairbanks, Alaska. This is where Jordan was raised for the rest of his life until he decided to join us here at California Baptist University. During his time in Alaska, Jordan endured the hardship of losing his grandfather at the age of 6. Because he was so young, he didn't really understand what this meant. But the other hardship that Jordan endured was his parents going bankrupt when he was about 9 years old. This was a struggle for him because his family never really explained anything to him, and he wasn't sure why he had to move from his nice big house to a small little apartment. They struggled for so long to get back on their feet when his dad decided to start a residential construction business as a general contractor. Jordan was able and sometimes even forced to work basic construction labor. He didn't really take this seriously until his senior year when he realized that he was contributing to the family and learned more skills under a high-speed carpenter. When Jordan was 16, he got kicked out of the house from his parents by 6 weeks, forced to live in a trailer and pay rent for 3 weeks. This was when he was finally accepted into the house, and when he was, his entire family went on vacation and left him there alone. This made him feel horrible because he wanted to be someone who his older brothers could look to, but he felt like this couldn't happen because of the choices that he had made. And he got kicked out of the house for making bad decisions in school with his friends. Throughout all of this hardship, there was one passion that Jordan had, and that was for wrestling. This never stopped. He showed the most improvement in his wrestling aspect of his life, and he became the captain of the wrestling team his senior year. Jordan enjoyed wrestling so much that he decided to pursue it in college, which is how he and I met, because he came to California Baptist University that had a D1 wrestling team. My freshman year started off extremely rough. I struggled on being alone and tackling a lot of the stuff from my past, such as throughout the year of being here at California Baptist University, there were so many things that I struggled with that caused me to have intense anxiety. And Jordan became my best friend through this time because he was there for my worst and best days. There was never a time that he would not talk to me, and he was always asking me how I was doing and what he could do to better my day. The one thing that stuck most to me was that Jordan would always ask me to smile. This would catch me off guard because I could be in full-out tears, and he would look me directly in my eyes and ask me to smile. When I asked why, he would always say, "Because you have a beautiful smile, and even a fake smile can make your day just a little bit better." One night, I was having a particularly rough night. Jordan had him, Hannah, Christian, and some of his other friends come over to watch a movie to make sure that I wasn't alone and that I was going to be okay. He would always make sure that if I needed anything, even if it was as simple as a hug, or him bringing me food because he knew I wasn't going to leave my room that night, he would make sure that I had those things. He always made sure that I had everything that I needed. The one night that stood out most to me was when I found out that my grandmother had cancer. She was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and I cried myself to sleep that night. Jordan came over. He asked me something that no one had ever asked. He asked me if he could pray for me, and he prayed that God would work in my grandmother's life and in my heart so that we could both experience healing. And since then, Jordan had always asked me if he could pray for me, and that was the one thing that kept me going. He taught me that through every hardship, you can ask God for help, and he will show himself in your life. That leaning on God is the best thing that you can do in the hard times in your life, and it would help with pain. I learned how to put my stuff aside and let others come talk to me so that way I could help them in the same way that Jordan helped me. When I was able to balance out my life with other people's, I was more able to be the Jordan to them. I would always help them by praying with them, and any chance that I got to be there for them, and always being a shoulder to cry on for them. This is one thing about my life that I know will never change, and the one thing that Jordan had always taught me. Because of Jordan, not only have I had a better relationship with Christ, but many other people have too. I watched throughout Jordan's life as he helped his roommate come to Christ, and I've seen the way that Jordan's work in other people's lives, and I know that if you ever get the chance to meet him, he will be the same person for you that he is for me, and that is something that'll never change about him. This is a picture of Jordan and my best friend, and that is who my tribute speech is about, so thank you for listening.